Everyone, let me just get my cord out of the way. I've realised. Hope you're well. What are you up to this weekend? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, make sure you type new in the comments so I can get to meet you. Hi to Canada. Hi to everyone who's joining so far. Eric is here. Chris is here. I saw Linda in the house as well. Great to have you all here today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the new design the new features that are coming to Cricut Design Space very soon. And just full disclosure, I've literally got the beta yesterday and jumped in last night, had a bit of a play around, came up with a bit of a project, and hopefully I can share some insights for you. If you've got some specific questions, we can run through that today and just complete a bit of a project. So again, let me know in the comments, any questions you've got, type them in all caps. It'll just make it easier for me to find them. If you're new to my channel as well, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to just subscribe, and that way you'll get news of all of my lives and all of my videos as soon as they come out. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Paul Williamson, and I'm here to share all my Cricut knowledge and expertise with you so that ultimately you can make beautiful things. Scissors Paper Paul on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Would really appreciate it if you guys can obviously follow me on those channels as well. Any of the files that I use or share during my lives, I always post on my Facebook page. Obviously, I can't share this one just yet because the new features haven't rolled out across Design Space. Again, I'm just using a beta version so that I can just demo for you guys today. So again, let me know what you're up to this weekend, and let's get started. I'm just going to jump to the comments and see who's here and if anything's popped up so far. Hey Judy, you're new. Let me know where you're from. Are you from Australia? I mean, most of you are, but we've got Canada here as well. Natalie's here. Welcome, Natalie. Hey Andrea. Linda's excited for the new features. They are super exciting. Tara's new as well. Tara, where are you from in the world? Let me know as well. Don't forget to subscribe. Gail's here. Oh, lots of people. Oh, Janine's here from Newcastle. Love Newcastle. Beautiful place. Tracy's here. Lots of new people. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Welcome to all of you. Suzette's excited for offset. I mean, that's what we're going to focus on today. I think that's the most exciting feature that's coming, other than kerning, which we'll talk a little bit about as well. That is coming, but won't come super quick. Happy Sunday to you, Linda, as well, and to Chris, of course. So look, welcome everyone. I will jump back in the comments and have a look and make sure that I haven't missed any comments or any questions as we go through. Tara's from Brisbane. I love Brisbane. My family's up there. And we've got Donna from Adelaide. Awesome. Welcome. Okay, so lots of changes, or some really great changes coming to Cricut Design Space in the near future. There's no fixed date yet, so I can't tell you exactly when it's coming, but I can tell you that it is coming soon. So we're not going to have to wait too long for the features that we're going to look at today, which is really cool. Linda's also excited for copy and paste, which is a great reminder. I'll try to remember to show you that as well. But if you didn't realize, you can now copy and paste between projects. So often people always used to ask in the groups, can I, take this design and now want to combine it with another one, and you couldn't, whereas now you can select all, copy, and you can paste it into your other project. So I'll try and show you that today as well, if I remember. I do have some notes here to try and remind me of everything to talk about. So hopefully I don't miss anything. If I do miss any of your comments, I promise I'll follow up in the comments later on. So let's get started. Before I do, one question here about the mug press coming to Australia. There's lots of speculation when it was coming. There was a lot of confusion because, of course, in America, they do month/date. So it was launching, and it launched in America on the 11th of March, which they have as the 3rd of the 11th. So everyone thought, oh, 3rd of November, that's when it's coming. It will be here this year. There is no fixed date yet. There is no known date of when it's coming. It's going to be, I'd imagine, later in the year. And as soon as I know, I promise, we'll let you know straight away. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I know there's been lots of comments around the mug press, but as a casual crafter like me, where I only make things for people that I know and love and friends and all that sort of thing, family members, the mug press is going to be brilliant. It'll be great for crafts. If you know me, I'm obsessed with coasters. I think I've got about 30 coasters behind me. So, I mean, just think about that for Christmas, coaster, matching mug. How cute is that, right? Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so let's jump into Design Space. And I've got my heat guide up because we will be using that as well. So jumping into Design Space, there have been a number of changes to Design Space, which you've probably already noticed. So now we've got links and playlists for YouTube, for their YouTube channel. Lots of great information there as well. And what I like about the YouTube videos, they're really nice, short, sharp, and sweet. So if you want to know how to weed, if you want to know how to, do when the mug press comes, how to do infusible ink on your mug press, or infusible ink on a t-shirt or a bag at the moment, they're really great videos because again, most of them are just really short and sharp, straight to the point, and they don't waffle on like I do on Sunday mornings with you guys chatting away. So let's jump in and we're going to do a new project. Now, when I thought of offset, I thought of a lot of things. Today, I'm going to make a cake topper. I mentioned that I've cut everything out because it's pretty boring to watch me cut cardstock and a little bit of iron-on, which we're going to do with cardstock as well. So I've done all that ahead of time, but instantly I just thought of cake toppers or banners and things like that really kind of resonated with me. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on today. But let's sort of have a look at some of the basics in action with the offset. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text. Now I'm going to be super boring. I'm just going to go happy birthday. Oh, now I was just about to say, full disclosure, I'm babysitting a puppy overnight, last night, as you can hear. She doesn't like my cats very much, so I do apologize. Hopefully she won't be too noisy. The joys of live crafting, right? I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that we can see it on screen, so you can see it really clearly. So here we go, we've just done happy birthday. Now there's a couple of things that I want to call out here. The first one is that sometimes, particularly when you're doing mugs, like vinyl on mugs, sometimes we want that font, particularly if it's a scripty font, sometimes we want a little bit thicker, right? And have you ever seen those hacks where you just duplicate and kind of move it over a little bit and then weld it together? Well, now it's really, really easy to just make it a little bit thicker with offset. So if we go up to the top here, now we've got a little offset button. If I click that, by default, it's always going to go to 0.25 inches. Now, my settings are in inches because I sewed before I crafted, and all of the sewing projects have always been in inches, so I kind of learned my dimensions that way. If you've got it in centimeters, then you'll obviously see this in centimeters as well. So by default, you can see now I've got a shadow around the outside, but what if I just want it just to be a little bit thicker? I can just reduce this down, and the offset will reduce as well, and then I can click apply. And you can see now there's two layers. If I delete my thinner layer, now we've thickened the font. So again, you can do it just really a little bit, or you can do it a lot. It's completely up to you. So let's have a look again. I'm just going to go to offset, and you can type in here as well. So we can do 0.25, and now it's nice and thick. I'm going to click apply. And here we have now two layers. So we've got our text, and now we've got this offset layer. How great is that, right? Obviously, we can change the colors of the offset. If I choose my offset, I can change it to something, a little bit prettier, whatever I want to do, just so I can visualize what my project's actually going to look like. But now we've got absolutely two separate layers. However, let's go back again. I'm going to click on offset. And by default, my offset is set to weld offset. So it's joining them all together. But let's say this is going to be a happy birthday banner where I'm going to put each letter on a piece of string, and I'm going to string it up over, the mantle or doorway or whatever on a wall. If I uncheck this box and click apply, now all of the offsets are completely separate. So if I choose my text and go up to advanced and ungroup to letters, now all of my letters are completely separated. And then I can just cut them all out separately, glue them together, or use foam squares, however I want to do it, if I want some dimension. And then I can just string that onto, glue it onto some string, or however I'm going to, present it. That's completely up to me. The other thing that you can do as well, I'm just going to delete one of these. Actually, I'll use the A. I'm just going to grab the A and pull that out. You can see all of these offsets have got a lovely curve to them, but you don't have to have a curve. So if you want to have sharp corners, you can go to offset, And here, hopefully you can see, we've got, by default, it's on a curve, but we also have one which is at right angles. So if I click apply, now you can see that that offset is completely square and it's got sharp edges. And a really great way, I think, to sort of see this as well, if I move this a little bit, if I add a shape like a star, for example, I might want to have a happy birthday. Maybe I'm going to add some stars onto this particular cake topper or banner as well. And then when I do the offset, I can do either a nice sharp corner, and I'll change that color so you can see it. So I can do a nice, maybe a bit yellow, nice sharp corners, or I'll get rid of that yellow, or I could do a nice curve just to soften it a little bit. And again, I'll change that color just so you can see. Oh, well, either way. So now you can see I've got sharp edges for my actual triangle, but nice rounded edges for my offset, which is really, really cool. Another great feature of this, I thought as well, actually, I'm just going to delete this, is type it in again. So happy birthday. And again, I'm going to align it, center, and I'll make it bigger so you can see that. So let's say we want to do our offset, because maybe we're going to do this on a card. We want to pop it up, maybe on our card, on the front of our card, or maybe even just layer it up inside the card. I'm going to weld my offset so they're all connected as one piece. I'm going to click apply. So now I've got my gray offset background, but maybe with my text, maybe I want to draw, or maybe I want to foil. So I can come up here to basic cut and operation. I can move down to foil, and I can select the foil type that I want. Now, one of the changes in Design Space as well is that now based on what you select for your pen or foil type, it will actually visually show you what that might actually look like. So here I've got fine, but if I go in and I make it bold, then you can see it's become a little bit thicker. So again, now I can just select all, I could click attach, and then now that's all ready to go. It's going to go through, it's going to do the foil, and then it's now going to cut out around with the offset as well. Of course, I can ungroup this to, I could ungroup to rows as well, or to lines, and then I could move them together and weld them together as well. Completely up to you. That's obviously personal choice, whatever you want to do. But isn't that great? That could be really, really fun. I know so often I've sort of wanted to get that kind of effect. Likewise, you could also change your text to a writing style, and also to foil, and it could just be a nice little, just a really thin line. With that, obviously, because it's a little bit smaller, then you just have to ungroup to letters and just space them out a little bit, select all and attach. So really, really cool idea there as well. So I'll move this again to the right. The other thing as well, if you're a sewer, so I'm going to go back to my main screen. I don't know if you've seen this before. This is a quilt that I made with my Cricut. So all the applique was cut, all the squares, all the triangles, everything cut with my Cricut. If you're a sewer and you quilt, I mean, how great is this? So now I could just add in my triangles, or I can add in my hexis. So hexis are a really big one, right? People that do a lot of quilting, they do a lot of work with hexis. And with hexis, once you've got your basic shape and that size, or whether it's just a square or your half square triangles, I'll go back to Design Space so you can see it. With your hexis or your triangles or your squares, maybe you want to add a 1/4 inch seam line to your hexis, because right, when you're sewing, it's all about the 1/4 inch and it needs to be exact. So now I can just do my offset, 0.25, click apply. Actually, I want my rounded edges. So go to offset, square edges, click apply. And now what I can also do is I'm going to change my original shape to a pen, and I'm going to select, where is it? I can't remember where it is now. Anyway, there it is, my blue washable fabric marker. Now that becomes a line, I can select that and I can attach. And now what it's going to do is it will draw my 1/4 inch seam line all around those shapes, or inside those shapes, and then cut that 1/4 inch seam around it. How great is that, right? That is just going to be so, so handy for us sewers. And even if you're uploading an image of a bunny, and you want to, you're going to sew this bunny together. Well, now you can just easily add your 1/4 inch seam, and it's going to cut. And if you want, you can get it to draw the seam line, so it's super easy for you to sew together. And also then, of course, you can wash that away because it's washable marker. All right, so let me know in the comments if you've got any questions in regards to that. I'm just going to jump in and have a quick look. Vicky, yes, so someone's obviously asking about when it's available. So it's coming soon, very soon. So it's not going to be long. So be ready. It will come out shortly. As soon as I know when it's going to be released, I'll certainly let you know. We'll let you know on Cricut for Australians as well, if you're a member of Cricut for Australians. If you're not a member of Cricut for Australians, there's a link in the comments as well that will take you straight to our group. And of course, you can join that page. So Suzette, answering that question for you. Janine, yes, so this was just announced yesterday, and these changes will be coming. I'm using a beta version of Design Space today, so this is not what everyone else is having access to right at this minute. Vicky's loving the offset rather. I think offset is what we've been asking for. Everyone's really, really looking forward to it. We've got a newbie from Albury, yay! Yeah, so Jay Milgate is asking about kerning. So kerning, just quickly, if I go back into Design Space, is in particular, I'm just going to select all of this and get rid of it. In particular, if we do some text, so I'll just do happy birthday, and I'm going to go into my fonts, and I'm just going to search script, just to get the basic script font. And I want to do it as regular. So with the script fonts, they're not connected. So every letter is separate. And then what we have to do is we go up to our advanced and we ungroup to letters, and then we just kind of move everything together. I'm doing this really quickly. You get the idea, but we move it all together. And then once we're happy with it, we can just select all and we would weld, and then that way it would cut all as one go. So coming, but not announced yet, so it won't be out when offset comes or when project collections are released, but coming soon, they're in development, will be kerning. So when you type it as a script font, it will already be connected, okay? And then of course you can weld it or you can separate it, you can do whatever you like to it, and just makes it a lot easier, right? Particularly for those script fonts. So that is coming, okay? But let's have a look at our cake topper that we've created. So I've done one with Harry Potter because this really screamed, straight away, I really love this particular image and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. But that's what I thought of with this. I thought, I can finally make this cake topper, and I'll show you why. So I just went to images and I searched Harry Potter. And this image I really, really love. I have used it before and I always thought it would be great as a cake topper, but it's very, very thin lines, right? So, that would be a terrible cake topper. It's just going to fall over and flop everywhere. And also I thought, well, then I could use gold foil iron-on, and that would just be really pretty and a bit shiny and just add a little bit of pop to my cake topper as well. So that was my first step. I started with this and then I thought, okay, what now? And I thought, well, I could type happy birthday, or I thought, you know what, I'm going to search for an image to see if there is one that suits my needs. So I'm searching happy birthday, and lots of images here that I could use, and I scrolled down and I found one which gave me wizard and witchy vibes, Wizarding World vibes, and it was, of course you can use anything you want, you could type it out if you wanted to as well, but I quite like using the images in Cricut Access. And let's say it's going to take me forever now, obviously, to find that image. So what I'm going to show you is one of the other features, that was recently released, and that is the ability to copy from another file into another project. So from one project to another. So I'm going to go back to my canvas. I'll cancel this. I'm going to save this because I want to. I'm going to Harry Potter, and I'm going to just leave this here for now because collections I want to show you a little bit shortly. So I'm just going to save this. So I thought I'd be able to find that image a lot easier. But if I go back to projects, my projects, here's the one that I created earlier. I'm going to click customize. and I'm going to come, this is the image that I want. So I'm just going to go Apple or Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. Go back to my projects, open up my other one, and then Command V or Control V, and there you go. I've just pasted in. So I could have taken all of the elements from that other project and pasted into this one, or I'm just going to grab this one here. So then I can just resize this to what I'm happy with. So let's say I'm happy with, with this. I'm going to select all, and I just want to align it. I'm going to align it horizontally, and that way it's just, evenly proportioned. And this is going to be my basic cake topper. But now I need to add my offset. So coming up to the top, I can click on offset, and I can make this a little bit, I might make this a little bit thicker. Okay. I'll make it nice and thick, and then click apply. And there we go. You can start to see it's taking shape. But the one thing you'll notice is if I grab my offset, you can see I've got lots of holes and lots of gaps here. Now you could leave these in, but because this is such a thin cutout, of course I'm going to have lots of gaps here. So what I'm going to do is go down to the bottom right, I'm going to click contour, and I'm just going to get rid of those. So I'm just clicking on the parts that I don't want it to cut. I'm just going to get rid of all of them, and that should do it. And there we go. Now I've got a nice solid background for my cake topper. Now, the other thing is I don't have any really thick cardstock. I'm just using American Crafts AC cardstock from Spotlight. So that cuts on about medium cardstock, but it's quite flimsy. So when I create cake toppers with my background layer, again, just Command or Control C, and then Command or Control V to paste, I'm just going to paste a few more layers. So I would do, probably got too many there. I basically do 5 layers of the background, and then everything else gets layered on top. So does that make sense? Are there any questions there? I can just align these as well, center, just so they look a little bit prettier. But there you go. There's my cake topper. So I'm going to have iron-on for Harry. I'm going to cut my happy birthday out of glitter cardstock. And then the extra layers for the weld, for the offset, are just going to make my cake topper really, really nice and thick. Now, something else you could do, which I thought about before, and I may cut this out after this live and show you, so when I post pictures, you can see both options. But I did think, well, I could do this in house colors as well and kind of layer it up with foam squares. So for example, with this one, I could offset it 0.25 again. I click apply. I don't need this one now. And I could change this color to the house colors. So I could do one that's, and send it to back, one that's the yellow, and then again, I can copy. So for example, if I got rid of all of these ones, sorry, get rid of those. And then if I go for my yellow, I can copy that and then do another offset of 0.25, click apply, get rid of the yellow, and then change this to red. And again, send that to back. And then you can see I can start layering up. I'll just get all of this, move it down a wee bit, make it a bit smaller so you can see it all on screen. But you can see now that I'm getting my red layer, and then I could use blue, and then I could use green, and then I've got all of the houses, and then just lay it up on cardstock. And I just thought, hey, that's really cool. So offset your offsets as well if you want to get the dimension, particularly if you're a paper crafter. We love layering things up to get the dimension. So this is just a really, really great way to do that. So again, let me just check in the comments and see if there's anything, any questions. So Yvonne's asking, would I use glue or sticky dots to join them up? I'll show you the glue that I use. I wouldn't use sticky dots because I find that they don't really have a lot of dimension. I would use foam squares. I buy them I get them, they're paper crafts, they're super cheap from Spotlight. I buy them when they're on sale. I just go and I've always got them, and I buy them in 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. So I've always got those on hand, and I can just pop everything up as I need to. You can also buy foam tape as well. We can just cut at any dimension, but that way you've got a really nice flat adhesion and not a dot, which is basically curved. So, but that's my personal choice. Alina's excited. I hope you said your name right. Linda's excited as well. Judy's asking where you get the washable marker from. So it's a Cricut washable marker. It's available at Spotlight. It'll be available probably at Harvey Norman. Anywhere that sells a maker should sell those as well. So you can just search Cricut washable marker and you'll find that very, very easily. Suzette, I mentioned this before. Oh, sorry, I think I've answered that question. So yeah, lots of excited people. I can see Sharon looks like you sew as well. So I think you're going to love this for sewing projects. So let's jump back in again. Feel free to ask more questions, but we'll jump back into Design Space and we'll talk about some of the other features. And then we're going to construct our cake topper and we're done. So first things first, like the preview you saw before, if I go save as for this one, I'm going to call it my Harry Potter cake topper, and I'm going to call it my layered one so I know which one it is. And then you can see I've already created some cake toppers, but maybe I want to do a new, some collections, but maybe I want to do a new collection. So I could either check this box and add it to Harry Potter, or I can type new collection and maybe I want to have one that is for cake toppers. Now, when you're organizing your collections, you can have this in Harry Potter. You can have this in cake toppers. Maybe you've got a happy birthday section as well. You can have it in multiple collections. So it's whatever makes sense to you. And then I'm just going to click save. Okay. Now, when I go to my projects, I can see now along the left-hand side, I've got the collections that I've started to create. Now, if you want to organize multiple projects, so when you first get collections and you want to kind of sort them out all in one go, that's really easy too. And it's particularly easy now because if you didn't know this already, I'm sure you do, remember the top right where we had that box that said search my projects, but you couldn't click into it. So very recently that launched as well. So if you didn't know, here you go, I'm enlightening you today as well in multiple ways, but this is great because look, now I can type Star Wars, because I do a lot of Star Wars for my son and me as well. Then you can click organize, and then I'm just going to choose all the projects. Some of them aren't Star Wars per se, but they had star in them, things like that. So I can ignore those, and I'm just clicking on all my Star Wars projects. Hopefully you can see there's a green outline around them. I'm just clicking them all. Then I'm going to click next, and I'm going to create my new collection, which I've only got 5 in my beta. So when you, if you're a Cricut Access member, which I am, but I'm in the beta version, you will have access to unlimited collections. If you are if you're not a Cricut Access member, then you can only get 5. So what I'm going to do here, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to come up here to my collections. You can edit and you can rename it. So Easter cards, maybe I want to change it to, and rename it. And then it's changed up here, or I can just delete it completely, remove that collection. Obviously it doesn't remove my projects. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to search Star Wars again. And then I'm going to organize. And then again, just selecting all of those projects. Oh, that's not one. If you click the wrong one, just click it again and it will uncheck it. Down the bottom as well, you can see I've selected 11 of a 100 and then click next. And then I create my new collection. So again, you'll have unlimited if you have Cricut Access. Star Wars, create, and then done. So now here's my Star Wars collection. So I can come in here, I can see all my Star Wars projects. Here are all my Harry Potter projects. Now I've got my cake topper that's in there, things like that. So super easy. So I did like Christmas, and again, just some random ones just to start having a little play around. So really easy to use, and it's just going to make it so much easier to find those projects. I mean, I think I've got about 850 projects in total, and that's a lot to go through when you're trying to find that one project. But again, you can search now, which made life a lot easier, but collections is going to make it even more easier. So that is collections. Now, okay, so we've done that. So I think we're ready to... I'll just check questions about the folders or the collections, and then we'll make a cake topper. So Judy's loving the collections feature. Yeah, I think it's just really useful. Linda's asking how to add it to multiple collections. So for example, with this one, I could go back to my projects. So I'm in my collection now. So all projects, you can see I've got 850. And let's say this was an Easter one. I can just go organize. Well, there's an Easter one. And let's say it was a cake topper as well. Then I can click next. And then I can add it to cake toppers. I could add it to Christmas. I could add it to Star Wars. And then I click done. And now it's in all of those collections. So hopefully that answers your question. So easy, easy, easy. Made it so easy. Great question from Karen. So is this available on iOS or Android? No. So these new features are definitely desktop features. They do require a lot of power in order to, well, particularly with offset. So offset, you'll need Windows 10. Macs, you should be fine with the latest operating system. I'm on a Mac. I haven't had any issues at all. But these are definitely desktop features. So yeah, great question there. Someone's excited about stickers. Great idea. So if you print and cut stickers, we want to have that outline. You want to have just a white outline or something. How easy is this? I didn't even think of that. That's a really, really great one. Oh, so there we go. Canada's saying the same thing as well. Loving that idea for stickers. Yeah, so thank you for saying that, because that is brilliant. Kylie, I'm going to tell you all about my glue in a minute. Give you lots of tips for thin cuts as well. It can get really, really messy. Did I just search cake toppers? Can you give me more information, Donna? And I'll try and answer your question. But let's go through and have a look at our project. So I'll go to the double screen. So here's our project. Now, the one thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to just jump back in quickly to our handy dandy heat guide. I am going to be using my EasyPress Mini today to put the foil on cardstock. So go to the heat guide. You can just search Cricut heat guide. You'll find it, bookmark it. Some of these settings do change, and obviously the materials get updated as well. So it's always good just to make sure you've got the latest version. I'm going to be choosing foil iron on onto cardstock and click apply. And it tells me I'm on low. And it tells me to 25 seconds, constant movement with light pressure. So now I know exactly what I'm doing there. All right, so back to our project. So I've cut out all my layers. Now I did 5 layers of cardstock. Here's 1, and here's 4 that I've glued together. So hopefully you can see how flimsy that is versus this. It's not really moving at all, and that's obviously flimsy. So 5 pieces of cardstock is going to make your project super, super thick. The other thing that I'd say is when you're doing iron-on onto cardstock, it can sometimes warp your cardstock. So if it does, just put it under something heavy and it'll completely flatten out. I'm going to put this final layer onto my project now. So I don't think it's going to warp that. If it does, again, I can just put it under something heavy, but this is now pretty thick. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. All right, so with the cake toppers, typically, I would recommend using liquid glue, because the great thing about liquid glue is that when you apply it, you do get some movement, some wiggle room, okay? If you're an experienced gluer, like me, you can use glue tape runner, which I really, really love. This one is the one that I'm completely obsessed with. So Kikuyo, I always get it wrong. I buy it from Officeworks. Now, I think they may potentially have discontinued. It may be really hard to find, but if you can find this, this is brilliant. And the reason being is it has tiny little dots that it leaves behind on your project. And if you make a mistake, you can literally just rub it off and it will just completely rub away. It's so, so good. So I'm devastated. Last time what I do is I would order 10 online and do pickup. So they collect them from all around Australia, and then I go pick it up at my local Officeworks. So keep an eye out for that one. If you don't have that one, another one that I do like, Bostik did send me their glue tape runner. This has been really good as well. So if I can't get my hands on the Kikuyo, this is the one that I'll be switching to in future. So I'm going to put this together with my tape runner. But again, I'm going to do it because basically you don't get the wiggle room. Yeah, you get a little bit of time to kind of remove it and put it back down, but you need to be pretty exact. So again, for the experienced gluers, you can do this. If you're not experienced, use liquid glue, which I'm going to do as well on other part of the project. And yeah, and then you get a bit more wiggle room. So what you want to do, the biggest thing with the cake choppers is, of course, you just want to make sure you're matching up all those sides, like give it a good, before you start sticking it down, just kind of get, squeeze the corners, squeeze the edges together, making sure that it's perfectly aligned. And then, of course, just press it down. So now this is, hopefully you can see, it's really thick, really, really thick, but totally together. It's going to be really, really sturdy. It's easily you're going to be able to glue your bamboo skewers or your plastic skewers, whatever you use for your cake choppers, easily hot glue onto this, and it's not going to fall over. It's not going to be flimsy, super, super solid. So that's the first part of our project. The next part, of course, we'll do the iron on, and then we'll do the glue, and I'll talk to you about liquid glue as well. So I've got my heat press mat here. Putting my project on there. So of course you want to protect your surface. The heat press mat, of course, it's going to push the heat back up into your project as well, protect your surface, and also wick away any moisture that might be on your project, mostly with fabric and things like that. So my Easy Press Mini is heated up, which you can't really see on camera, but you'll see it in a minute. So I'm just going to place my foil iron-on design where I want it to go. I've got a little bit of foil there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pop this on, align to where I want it to be applied. So just focusing on that offset and looking at making sure it looks correct, and there's my edges are all around it. And then just checking it said 25 seconds on low, constant movement, which you always do with the Easy Press Mini. And then so I'm just going to count, so I'll go quiet for a bit. Right. Okay, I think I've probably gone a little bit over. Then we're just going to let that cool, and then we can remove that liner. So I'll turn my Easy Press Mini off. Perfect for these little projects. And the next thing that we're going to do, so I'll just pop this over here to cool down, take it off the mat so it'll cool down a bit faster. And here is my happy birthday sentiment. Now, liquid glues. So liquid glues, the number one that I recommend to everyone is the Scotch Tacky. Now, this is a new packaging, it's white. You may see it in a red package, but as long as it's the Scotch Tacky glue, that's the one you want. Now, local craft stores might stock it. I know Craft Online have it. Unfortunately, it's not really easy just to walk into Spotlight or anything like that to get it. If you see it in a big box store, please let me know, because it is hard to get. And to be honest, Jules, if you know Jules, when she goes back to Canada, I ask her to buy it for me, and then she brings back a few bottles. It lasts me forever. So this is the number one liquid glue that I recommend. And what I do is I put it into these fine tip glue applicator bottles. Now these you can get at Lincraft. I think they're in a pack of 5. I don't know, they're a few dollars and they're not expensive. Or you can buy them on Amazon as well. They have a really, really tiny fine applicator. And for the person that was asking me about, fiddly gluing, things like that, this is what you need. If you don't have this, if you don't want to buy in Craft Online and fill up the bottles like I do, the one product that I have found, I don't use it very often anymore, but I would recommend this. This is a Zig two-way pen. Okay, now there's a fine applicator and there's a thick applicator. So this is a fine applicator, and that just releases really fine lines, or pretty fine. It's not as good as this. It's a little bit runnier, so it tends to spread. It's not as easy to work with, I don't think, but it is really, really good. It does work really well. And you can just do little dots like you'll see me do shortly, little dots of glue, which I find just works absolutely perfectly. So get the fine tip one now. This one was easy for me to get because I used to get it from Riot stores, but of course they no longer have a physical presence. So I guess I'd be shopping online, but you may, I don't think they're at Spotlight. I don't think. If you know where they are, pop it in the comments and let everyone know. So that might be just an easier fix. But yeah, they're the glues that I use. So let's, my cake topper has cooled down. So I'm just going to peel off my liner, making sure that everything is stuck down, nothing's lifting. Just peeling it straight back on itself. And I love using iron-on on cardstock because look, it just has a really beautiful shine. How gorgeous is that? And you could have done the happy birthday with the foil iron-on or any iron-on, glitter iron-on, up to you. But really, really special and just makes it a little bit more luxe, I think. And now we're going to put our glitter on. Now, the glitter cardstock that I use, again, those of you that know me, you know that I'm not a fan of glitter. I love glitter. I just don't like it on everything. So this is POW, I think, POW. It comes in single sheets from Spotlight. I'm not going to lie, it's expensive. I think it's about $5 a sheet. It comes in the most amazing colors. So really beautiful pastels and really nice, bright reds, golds, silvers, but, beautiful pastel greens and blues and really, really lovely colors. The reason that I like this is one, it's a little bit thinner. So I find it a little bit easier to work with, but also it doesn't shed. So it means that I don't get glitter anywhere. So I do have other glitter and I have bought glitter, quite a lot of glitter from Divine Blanks, and it's beautiful and thick and gorgeous and glittery. This isn't as glittery as the ones where it's got, the really thick shards of glitter on it. So if you want that look, try Divine Blanks. It's really, really cheap, $1 a sheet or something like that. But yeah, that's why I use this one, purely personal preference. Plus, I craft for myself, as you know, so I don't need to buy it in bulk. I don't make 100 cake toppers a year. I make them for friends and family. That's the only time that I do it. So having one sheet of gold is going to last me probably a year, depending on what I'm doing. All right, so this is what I do for gluing, for fine gluing. I just use tiny little dots of glue. You don't need a lot of glue. You don't need to cover this in glue. One thing I should say as well, I personally don't recommend sprays because you don't get a lot of wiggle room with sprays. Once it's down, it's going to be down. So with the liquid glues, once I put this down, I can move it around. I can adjust it a little bit. The other thing I should say as well, the reason I like the Scotch Tacky is it dries clear. So if you make a mistake, you're not going to get those water stains. You're not going to get those ugly marks on your project. You can just dab it with your finger to remove the excess and it's going to dry perfectly clear. Okay, so I really like that as well. But yeah, this is what I do. Okay, and I make a lot of cards and they're still together. Tiny, and I'll show you like little, because it's going to be hard to see on the white. I do tiny little dots of glue. All right, and just go tracing my image. Just dots, dots, dots. All of the crucial areas that I think need to be stuck down. I'll try and make it so you can see it a little bit better. I know you can't really see, but these are really, really tiny dots and you get really good at it. We don't want it oozing out. We just want it stuck down, right? So get it in all the crucial spots, the edge of the letters, the middle of the letters, any bits that are kind of, all the curly bits that might lift, for example, and get caught. You want those glued down. But you can see here, I'm just being very, very, very sparse with my glue. And this is what I've done for years, and it has not let me down. And these are the same glues that I've been using for, I don't know, how long have I been cricketing now? 4 years, maybe? I don't know, it's gone so quick. If you have a glue recommendation, please share it in the comments as well. I'm not precious. I'm not sponsored. You use whatever works for you. I'm just telling you what I do, and I'm basically mostly a paper crafter. So again, probably hard. I'll try and lift it up a little bit so hopefully you can see. Let's get it off here onto my hand. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see those tiny little dots on there, really, really small. And then again, I'm just going to flip this over, pop it onto my project, and you can see I've done a terrible job. So I've got little bits of white everywhere. So position it where I want it. I'm happy with that. Glue it down, press it down. And anywhere that I've got a little bit of glue coming out, I'm just using clean fingers, so a different finger each time. So I'm not transferring glue, I'm just picking up any of that excess. And as I say, that will dry clear, which is why I like the Scotch Tacky. So there we go. That's our cake topper so far. Bit of glitter. You can see those little white dots. They will dry clear. The other thing as well, the other tool, and people always ask me about this, This is a silhouette pick-me-up. Now, I've only seen these in Craft Online. Well, that's where I got this one. These are really, really cool because look, they've got a blob of blue tack, really. You could probably make one. A tiny little bit of blue tack on the end, and it means you can pick up really fine pieces. So hopefully you can see here, this is my little eye, my little dot. I don't know what you call them, but here, to go here for my eye. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to just put a tiny little dot of glue. Yeah. Okay. Probably wouldn't even need that much. I'm going to take my pickup tool. I'm going to pick up my little dot thingy. I'm going to pop it down. And there's my little eye thingy. Whatever, I know there's a name for them. I don't know what it is. Again, if you know in the comments, please, please, please drop that down. So there's my cake topper, lovely in gold. Again, I think I might cut out those other offsets as well and just do take a photo of this as it is, but also do a layered version so you can see both kinds. But that's offset in action. So hopefully you found that interesting. Let me jump back into the comments as well. Just see if I've missed anything. Yeah, so Erica has made up her own pickup tool. Yeah, so it is literally blue tack on the end there. So you could totally make, I didn't really know what it was when I got it, but I've had that again 4 years as well, and I've not had to put more blue tack in or anything like that. Kylie's making a shopping list. That always happens. Suzette, love that idea. Would make a beautiful, I should go so you can still see it. It would make a gorgeous birthday card. And I have other videos as well which talk about shaped cards. And actually I'll link one up here somewhere so that if you're watching on the replay, you can see if you wanted to make this into a card, how you would go about that as well. Really, really easy process. So yeah, Deborah loves the art glitter glue. Let me know in the comments for everyone else, Deborah, where you get it from, because I've heard Americans rave about this, but I've not been able to get it. I've seen it before, I think on Amazon, but it was really, really expensive because it came from the US. Yeah, so Lincraft, Vicky, I've definitely seen those fine tip bottles in Lincraft. And again, I think they came in a pack of 3 or 5. This is the only one I've ever had. I'm using the same one. You don't go through them or anything like that. I'm not sure what I said that was so funny. Hopefully it was... I didn't just say something completely wrong. Linda loves the little glue bottles. Oh, barely. Yeah, my accent. And I'm from New Zealand as well. So it's even worse because I can't do the different types of bear, and all that sort of stuff. So Donna, so clarifying at the start when you were scrolling to the one that you wanted, how did you see the ones on screen? I just searched. So I'll just jump quickly in just to show you. In Design Space, I just went to my projects and I think I just typed, cake topper or whatever it might have been, and then that's how I filtered the results. So top right, you can search now for all of your project names, any of the keywords that are in there. Also, next Thursday, and I'm going to share this on my page today, or tomorrow at the latest, but next Thursday, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, I'll be live on behalf of Cricut for Australians here on YouTube. I'm going to be making this Easter card, which I made last year or maybe the year before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the project in my Facebook page so that you can cut it out if you want to make it with me, or make a different version of it. Maybe you'll do something a little bit different, completely up to you. And we'll basically be putting that together next week and just talking about some of the features of that project as well. Okay, so going back to comments, before we finish up. So Deborah is also saying nearly art glue. So another really good one, is that glitter art glue, or is that a different one, nearly art glue? So that's really, really good. I'm glad, Kylie, you like those glue tips. Always feel free to ask me about glue. I'm always happy to talk about it. And Judy, didn't know you could use iron-on and cardstock. Yay. You could use vinyl as well. Absolutely. I think it's an easier application for cardstock because you don't potentially have that risk of tearing. So you're not going to potentially have that, when you take off the vinyl, off the cardstock, ripping. If you are transferring onto cardstock, make sure you de-stick your transfer tape a lot on your top, on your pants, whatever, just to remove a lot of the stick so that when you do apply it, you're not it's not going to tear your cardstock when you remove it. But I just find with iron-on, you don't get that. So for me, it's easier. Plus, for those of you that know me, know I'm a terrible weeder. And for me, iron-on is just easier to weed. So if you watch me weed on camera, your eyes are rolling in the back of your head. Rook Deb Poi. So I hope I'm saying that right. Deb, is that your name? I'm glad that you found my channel as well. Again, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Linda, I did show you how to add to multiple collections. I hope that you saw that. If not, you can go back and watch that. This will be live on my YouTube channel once I end the live. Thanks, Yvonne. Yes, good tip about removing the stick. And you're welcome, Linda. So I hope you got something out of it. Again, if you've got any other questions, drop them in the comments. I will get back to you. I'm really, really good. I'm obsessed with social media, so I'll get back to you straight away. Again, make sure you're following me on Instagram as well as Facebook. All the links are in the comments below. And have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful week. I hope you get lots of crafting done. I hope you're really excited about the new features. And I'll see you on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Bye.